Hello, everybody. Glass Phoenix here, and welcome to my first movie review. And today I will be reviewing Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, I know this film has been out for a while, but I wanted to review it because I promised myself that this would be my first movie review on my channel. And before I talk about the film, I just want to dive into a little bit of background and my history with this film. So, I remember at the time, like back in 2017 when this movie was first coming out, that I saw the trailers for the film, and they were for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because I remember those were the only trailers of the film. So they're Zack Snyder's version, and so when I went to go see the film, I was vastly disappointed. I was really sad because it was just really underwhelming, and like it did not live up to my expectations because that was my most hyped superhero movie of that year. So yeah, and I saw it and I was disappointed, and I never watched it again. I mean I watched it a couple of times on uh, DVD and streaming or whatever, but I have no interest in seeing it again. And so I remember this film was circling about uh, for a while, and like everyone was talking about it. How because I had no idea Zack Snyder had been fired at the time. I thought he was just directing the whole time. I had no idea about Joss Whedon and all of that. So yeah, that was kind of weird to find out a little later. I was like, and it makes sense because the movie was like looked really dark, and I remember sitting there and I was like, wait, this scene is not in the movie and this scene's not in the movie. But that's, like I said, that's because I had watched only the Zack Snyder's trailers. But now here we are. The Snyder Cut has finally been released, and now we get to see it. So, what are my thoughts on the film? Personally, I loved it. I thought it was very good. I'm very glad Zack Snyder got to make his version of the movie, because it's just me, but I'm always on the director's side of everything. I always agree with the director's vision, even if it's terrible. At least it's their vision. Like, studios need to stop messing with everything, thinking they're right, because they're not. It's not their vision. It's the director's vision. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about my positives. Let's talk about the film. So, yeah, you got positives. So my first positive of the film is that the movie is visually breathtaking. Like, it's a very beautiful movie, easily more beautiful than Joss Whedon's Justice League, because like that one was very ugly, and everything was just overlit and terrible. It was a very visually unpleasant movie. But with this movie, it's got a bunch of deep blacks, and everything just looks more visually appealing, and I really like that. There's a lot of really beautiful shots, especially near the end. And another, and also staying with the visual stuff. I always thought Zack Snyder is a very good visual director. He's always impressed me with his movies and how visually beautiful they are. I personally respect him. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. And another thing is the characters are actually fleshed out in this film. Like, you actually get to know them. Most notably, Aquaman, The Flash, and Cyborg. Those characters you actually learn about in this movie. And in Joss Whedon's movie, you know nothing about them. You just kind of you just know them because they're iconic characters, but that's not enough. You have to you need a reason for us to care about them. And in this movie, we do. Uh, you know, we learn a lot more about Cyborg. We get to see his backstory, and that's pretty cool. Flash, he's also really good. There's lots of cool stuff with him. I always loved very fast characters. Those have always impressed me. To see what you can do with them, and that's always cool to watch. And in Aquaman, we've already seen the movie, like, and this movie, the Zack Snyder's version, went over the same stuff the movie did. But then again, this came out before that, so it makes more sense. But yeah, and so yeah, the character's a lot better here. Also, the villain Steppenwolf is also a better character here. Because in the Joss Whedon version, he was just some big guy who wanted to destroy everything and he had no motivation. He just kind of wanted to destroy things and whined a lot. And in this movie, we actually give a reason. He wants to go back to his world, and that's understandable. And he doesn't whine. He doesn't go, "Oh, where's my mother?" He kept saying that in the theatrical, and that was always really annoying. And in this, he actually has a motivation. He seems like he knows what he's doing this time. And yeah. And so personally, I think the action is a lot better. It feels better choreographed and less rushed. That's always cool to watch. And another thing is that the movie actually has an emotional core. Like we actually feel for these characters because we're given a reason to care about them. In the theatrical or the Joss Whedon version, we had we have no reason to care about them. We're just they're just there, like they're iconic characters. But here, they're actually fleshed out characters, and they all give an emotional backstories. Mostly Cyborg and Flash. Those really hit the emotional beats quite well, and that's really good. And also, another huge thing that this movie also that I really love about this movie is that it's consistent. It's consistent with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. It feels consistent. It actually feels like it honors, like it feels like cuts. Oh man, what am I trying to say? I guess what I'm trying to say is that it makes sense, because in the Joss Whedon's theatrical version, it was like, oh man, it was like it felt like a Frankenstein. It was a Frankenstein movie, and it just turned into an Avengers lighthearted all of a sudden, and that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit, and everything's oversaturated, and it just felt very fake, and that's what I like about it. It's consistent with what came before, and honors the Zack Snyder's. This is because unlike Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder actually has a vision for these characters and movies, and that's what I like. And I like his vision personally. I think it's a rather unique vision of everything. Oh, and also just another thing, the comedy here also makes sense. Like, it's not overdone like in the theatrical version. It's actually it fits. And I don't really have any negatives other than some of the CGI is really noticeable, like Steppenwolf. That he's definitely better than the one in the theatrical CGI wise, but still it's noticeable. Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, other than that, this movie's great. I loved it. I'm gonna give this film 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. So, I think that's about it. See ya.